Welcome to another video. My name is Dyre Crosse, and we are doing something for the first time on this channel. That's right, we are in a strange land that is covered in moss, and what is that? A whole bunch of builds that some of which may look familiar to you. That is because this is my test world. That's right, this is my builds world. It's not really a test world. I do some redstoning here. As you can see, maybe over there, yeah, that's where I built up the original version of my auto storage building, and that's where that is at. So today what we are doing is a tutorial. This video comes to you requested from no one else but my daughter. My daughter requested that I make this video where I explain and show how to build roofs. And this is going to be a series that is going to go on for a little while, and of short videos that explains and shows how to build different styles of roofs in Minecraft, something to that effect. Here in this game, the one that we are currently playing. Yes. So, anyways, let's go ahead and get right to it. So as you can see behind me, there is many different styles of roofs in this world, and well, some people really struggle with building roofs in their worlds, and today we're going to attempt to rectify that. Now, I'm not going to say that I am the best builder of roofs in the game, but I have come up with some designs that I think work really well, and I have come up with some designs that I absolutely hate. Anyways, now today the style of roof that we are going to go for is going to be a simple fantasy style roof. Now this one is not peaked very hard like a fantasy style roof. This one here is not peaked very hard like a fantasy style roof, but many that are done in this fashion are peaked way harder to make them more fantasy style. And then from getting that peak, you can get much more in detail, and we will go over that today as well. All right, so where we're going to start out here is we're just going to start out with a simple square building. Now this one is awfully small, and so the roof will not be large at all. And what we're going to do is we're going to alternate blocks to represent where you should place yours. Okay, so what you're going to do to start this roof out is you're going to decide how much of a hangover you want to have. You do want to have a hangover. It makes the builds look better. It gives them more depth. As you can see over here, there is from the edge of from the last building block in this, there is a 1 block hangover, and from the actual wall there is a 3 block hangover. So or overhang, I should say, overhang. And then we even have one on the sides, and that helps to give depth. And yes, it may look like there's floating blocks, but it also makes the roof look better in itself. And there are ways that you can make this so that it does not look like floating blocks, and we will get into that as well. All right, but I personally like it like that personally, but some people don't. So all right, let's start out here with our super basic square building. Now for me, similar to that roof over there, I'm going to give this a 1 block from the final building block. So this pillar here, whoops, this pillar right here is going to be that this is our final building block. Even though there is an air gap here between the wall, these are our final blocks. These are what we are going to overhang. So what we want to do is we're going to decide how far down on this building we want the roof to go on the side, and how much of an overhang in the front and or back. So the overhang on the sides and the front and back. So what I commonly do is, with this style of roof and how much peak I want, decides how much overhang is on the sides. Now, this one I'm going to do a pretty sharp peak. It is going to be pretty well on a pretty good grade. So what we're going to do is we're going to come out 2 blocks. We're going to come 2 down and come out 2 blocks, and then we're going to come 1 block forward. Okay, now this is not actually going to be our edge of the roof yet. We're actually going to come back down 1 more block, and we're going to do that right there. All right, so actually let's switch that to this to make it easier to see. All right, and now we're going to actually come up on a 2nd block here, and we're going to come in like that. Now this block here is going to dictate that either we go up more here, we can go up another block to give it an even sharper peak, or we can go in a block and come up right here. Personally, we're going to go up 1 more here, and then we're going to come over a block. And now this also dictates that this pillar has to come up here to fill the gap. So all these pillars are going to come up 2 more blocks. And this is going to also help you to get a higher roof inside your builds to give you more headspace. Now, if you don't want that, you can start closer in. You can do less 2 block gaps and do more 1 blocks. Now that's going to give you less of a peak, and it'll be more of a gradual peak. All right. So now what we're going to do from here is we're going to continue going with a 2 block pretty much all the way up until we get to the center. Now this is our center block right here in this build, because we do odd numbers. See, if you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Now, most roofs that you're going to want to build are going to be on a 7 wide, or not a 7 wide, but an odd number. That way you get a single block peak. If you do an even number, you're going to end up with a 2 wide peak. And they can look good. Yes, they can look good. It depends on your build. And that is up to you to decide whether you want to have a 2 block peak or a single block peak. So, and each build is going to dictate something different. Now me, I try to build only on odds due to it makes making windows easier. It makes putting a door in easier, because it all can be centered. And if this were, let's say, 1 more block wider on each side, then I could put a window here and still have wall left over. But that's not for this build. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to continue on with our 2 block until we hit the center block. And now going up like this, it may be hard for you to determine what is your center block if you've only built up this high. So what you can do is take that center block up until you're getting close to where your peak is going to be. So our peak is actually going to be right there. We were only 1 block off from where our peak was going to be. And now we can go back down. So, and these types of styles of roofs are very doable in vanilla as well, or without creative mode. They are very doable. And doing a roof that is stylized and not just staircases will bring your build to possibly its next level. Okay, so that is the shape of our roof. So now what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to fill in this part here, and only fill what would be visible from the front. So keep it going up to there. Yes. And now you would take these blocks backwards And you can start pretty much anywhere. I usually start near the bottom, and I'll take it back to 1 block past the back wall as well. So this has dictated how far our overhang is on the side as well. And now you can use that to put in windows and things like that. But now be aware that if you put a window on this wall here, unless you put it down here like so, when you're inside, you're not going to be able to see much of anything. If you put a window, let's say you put a window up here on a 2nd floor, you're just going to see roof, unless you do what is called a dorm, and we'll get into that in just a moment. All right, so we have pulled those blocks back. Let's continue doing that. Okay, and now we have all of our blocks in place and set up. So our walls are now complete. They run all the way up to the roof, and we can go on the inside and see that they do run all the way up to the roof. And just fill that in. And everything is now complete. Now you have a shell for your building. It is just as simple as that to make a nicely styled roof. Now, if you want to make this better, or in your opinion better, because I personally like this. Yes, the blocks are just touching on the corner, and that may ruin some illusion for you as the player. And you may think, well, how is this being held together? There's, you know, they're barely even touching each other. See, I still think to myself that, you know, if this were a less blocky game, that this would be more sloped, and I can use my imagination to see how it is held together. But you, as the player, may not want this. And so you may want to come in and put staircases on the underside of your build, such as this. And this is going to take a lot of those sharp angles out and make it feel like the roof is more connected. Something similar to that. Now these corners, it is a clear connection as to how they are together. And if you like this style better than the floating block style, that is up to you. And I don't think anyone is going to argue with your choice either. All right, so one other thing that we covered was dormers. Well, we haven't really covered, but we mentioned them. Now we're going to actually cover them. Because if you come to the side of this building and you look at it and you say, ah, that is just awfully plain and flat. Well, not really flat, but it's just blocks going up. Now what you could do is say, you know, and I'd really like to have a second story that starts, let's go inside, and let's say you want a second story that starts 5 blocks up. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so on the 5th block, you want a second story, and you want to be able to see out this second story, right? So you want a window right here, but there's roof in the way. Now what I would suggest to do is knock those blocks out right there. So that's where you want your window. And go with a minimum of a 3-block dormer is what I have always called them. I don't know if that is the legitimate term for them or not, but that is what I have always heard them called, and what I have called them. So what you're going to want to do is you're probably going to want to pick a spot a little higher up, actually, honestly. That way you don't have this, because this is going to be very visible from the underside, and yeah, this doesn't look great from the underside. But we're just going to roll with this as a example. If I were to do this on a build personally, I would go up 3 more blocks, probably. Yeah, about 3 more blocks to make it 3 or 4, probably actually 4, so that it is right up against the side there. But we're just going to roll with this because it is what it is. Now, what you can do is you can do an outline like this, like that is the same color as the wall. You can even get even more fancy and come back over here and grab your pillar block and fill that in like so. And then what you do is, in the same manner that you did your roof, your original roof, you're going to do another roof that is facing the opposite direction. And this doesn't have to be the exact same blocks, the exact same peak as the other one, but I would suggest that you keep it somewhat close. So if it were my house and I were doing this, I would do a peak similar to this, just because this roof is so tall, and we can get away with doing something fairly large to break this roof up. And do overhang as well, 1 block at minimum. You can overhang more, but I would not do it just flat. Personally, I don't like the flatness of that. But so we can do something like that, and then fill in these blocks here so that it all looks the same. And now you have a window. And you have broken up your roof and given your build even more depth by doing so. And this window can extend up further if that's what you want. Do whatever you would like there. Now, if you are still saying, well, I don't want a dormer, especially on a roof this size, but I want more detail. Now, this is where other block styles are going to come in handy. Now, we've already used stairs, but what if we threw in slabs to the mix? So, let's grab some copper slabs. And let's get waxed. Yeah, there we go, waxed. All right. So, what you can do to break this up even more, come down to any section of your roof. I would suggest starting at the bottom, especially in survival, and working your way to the top. But you can do it in any order that you would like. Now, this is a style of roof that you have seen on the channel before. It was the style that I did my original Voidcraft roof after. Now, what you're going to want to do is start mixing in stairs and slabs. Not like that though, but something to that effect. And you can do more or less with the stairs and or slabs, and yeah, go that way. Something to that effect. It doesn't have to be exact. This is not some kind of exact science. Now, what you can also do on this level is break those out, and we can go with some slabs there like that. Now you have a gap here, but a nice way to hide that is if you're using these upside down stairs like that, and come in, you're going to come in on the inside, and you're going to break up that there. And then if you're going to have a low spot, what I would suggest doing personally is build up to a high spot that goes over top of your original planned spot of it stopping, because it was all going to stop right here, right? It was going to stop there. But now we've got a low spot and a high spot, and you can even take out another slab there. You do whatever you feel makes it fit. Another suggestion that you do these blocks out of is any type of wood block, or this style, because then you can also pair this with a trapdoor. And we'll use an acacia so that it somewhat matches. But you can use this on top of full blocks to get that, it's not even a quarter block, but you can use it on a trapdoor. I suggest using like spruce. Spruce looks the best, honestly, for doing this style, because the spruce trapdoor doesn't have any spots where you can see through it, but any will really work, honestly. Dark oak would work as well, really well for that. But so now you have this, and to top that off, it's not a full block. It'll blend in well if it's, you know, the wood type, but it also spawn proofs these blocks, your full blocks, and you can do it on top of any full block to spawn proof it. You could also use carpets that match the same color to do the same effect, or you can mix it up and do carpets and trapdoors if you have something that matches well enough. So, and then you can continue doing this, and you can even do things like that in the middle, in these gaps here that are larger. You can do things like that to give it depth. You can come in with the slab, and remember, you're going to go back there and put a stair, an upside down stair, to fill the gap so that those aren't visible like that. And there you are. And then you can build up. Now, like this here, you wouldn't want to leave that like that, because now you're seeing the post, and you don't want to come out here, over here, and break this post and put a stair block here, because it's just going to look weird. Now this connection looks weird. You've got this hole right here that's not connected to anything. So you want to be mindful of where your posts are, and say, if you're going to do that, do something like that. And you can even come down further as long as you have the blocks on the back side like this. You can have some real low spots and some real high spots. You can come in with those trap doors. You can use stairs facing that way. You can even do stairs like this. Of course, not right there. What I would do personally, if I was going to do that, is something to that effect right there. Now, I'm using these contrasting blocks because it does give you a good feel as to where the blocks change, where they change level. And you can keep going up with this all the way up. So let's do that, and we'll see how it looks when we're done. Okay, and if we take a look at this, now this roof does look kind of messy, but it has a lot more style than just a common flat blocks, and it gives it a lot of depth, maybe too much depth, but it works in some circumstances. It does work in some circumstances, so trust me there on that. Personally, with this block palette, I would never do this because they contrast each other so much that you would never, it just looks super messy. When it is a block style that is the same color of block, it does not contrast so badly, and it blends in a bit more but still gives it depth. So we have given you two different options as to how to do one roof. Well, maybe more than two, but we've given you many different options to achieve this high-peaked fantasy-esque style roof. And we've shown you different ways to pull it off and make it look good. In my opinion, both of these will look good, and I would build both of these roofs in any one of my worlds, and I have. To be the video for the day. I hope that you guys have all enjoyed this video, and I hope you've learned a little bit about building roofs themselves. If you'd like to see more, stay tuned to the channel, because we are going to be building many different styles of roofs and going into more elaborate means of building such roofs. So if you like this video, I would encourage you to subscribe and hit the like button as well, so that more people can see this video, and maybe they'll have some better roofs and even improve on my ideas even. I would love to see that. So if you do that, you can tag me on Twitter or something to that effect, and I will see what you post there, and maybe I can do a tutorial on one of your roofs. But alright, in the next video, what style roof do you think we should do next? Leave a comment down below and tell me what style you think should be next. Alright, this is Dyre Crosse. You guys have a great day. Bye-bye.